well, with Bill Maher, so when we started the Opie and Anthony show, it was up in Boston, and our first week together as a full show, they flew us out to I think it was the Grammys, and we set up in front of the Comedy Store for like 2 or 3 days, interviewing a ton of celebrities, and we were very, very green as a show. We're just getting started. I discovered Anthony down here on Long Island at BAB. I'm like, I think we got something. And then I got us a job in Boston. And then they're like, good news and bad news. You know, you guys start next week, but you're going to pretty much be starting in LA talking to celebrities. So it was a weird spot for us. And everyone was cool. And in general, we did all right. You know, it was nothing like what the show would become in the years following. And that stupid Bill Maher sat in front of us, and we were a little nervous, a little unfocused, a little just trying to find our way. And Bill Maher just called us out to our faces.
What did he say?
It pretty much said, "You guys are obviously real new to this," and he was just a dick about it.
Oh my God!
And I always wanted another shot at that. You know, to really just put him in his place, especially when we were, on top of the mountain. But it never happened. Same thing happened to Pauly Shore. Can you imagine Pauly Shore?
Pauly Shore? No way, dude.
Same thing, because we're really green, and he was kind of a dick towards us. And
where does he get off being a dick? It's not like he's like.
Thank you. So years later,
look, talk to me when you've been in son-in-law, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. So years later, he comes on WNEW. Now me and Anthony are basically the kings of New York radio, and we're being syndicated. Pauly Shore comes in. He's eating his own fucking face. He's having one of the worst appearances ever. And I can only speak for myself. I don't know if I ever talked to Anthony about this, but I remembered all those years earlier in LA, and I just sat there and let him just eat his own face. And he was looking towards me like, come on, guys, help me out here a little bit. Help me out. And I'm like, nope,
wow.
and nope. And he ate it that day. And that was my little payback for when he was a dick to us out there in LA when we were first starting. It's not smart. I mean, now that I'm an older guy, the amount of bridges I burned because I had to tell it like it is. It gave me a good career. It gave me this. It gave me a lot of dough. But after every radio show, walking the hallways after you beat the shit out of all your bosses, it was really awkward.
Really? Yeah.
Well, I'll say this much, what it's worth. The one thing I don't like about stand-up comedians is that you guys all kiss each other's asses in general.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about you personally, Robbie, because I don't know much about you.
Yeah.
And I had all these guys on the radio show over the years, and I know they trash talk behind the scenes, and I'm like, if this is how you feel, then say it. Like, I'll tell you, Amy Schumer now stinks.
Yeah,
I'll tell you. I'll tell you, Bert Kreischer and his drinking is absolutely out of control, and he's got to stop making excuses about it. and he hides behind the fact that he's got a vodka now. So now I gotta drink. I gotta promote my product.
What is Tom doing getting into a vodka business with his friend he knows has a drinking problem? That's like so crazy.
It's called enabling, Robbie.
Yeah. I guess it's also about making money. I mean, yeah, that's cool. But on the other end, it's like you don't want to be the guy. Like, I don't know. I think Kevin Brennan's really funny, but it's like you don't want to necessarily like just be the guy.
Kevin Brennan?
Yeah.
So are you trying to say there's more of an in between? But my point is that I hung out with most of these comics off air, and the shit talking they do, and then I see him on Twitter. You know, this guy he's got a special out. He's one of the funniest in the business. You really got to check it out. I'm like, oh my God, you think he's a hack?
Tony Hinchcliffe, you are the greatest. Everyone loves him. He's the best. Like, go check out his Trump rally thing or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, I've look. I don't know if this is a popular opinion, but
Redbar.
Redbar is the best. I like the Redbar.
Oh, Jules, look at Opie over here. He's on some kind of beach. Whoa, what do we call that, Jules? We call that on the beach. That's right. We call it on the beach.
I think that guy is really good at what he does.
I think he's fantastic. I really.
But I also don't want him going after me, if that makes sense. And I'm not scared. I'm not scared of many people, to be honest with you. I'm kind of an idiot.
If I was on Fool's Notice, I don't know what I would do, man. I don't know what I would do.
His presentation is so damn good, and he's very, very entertaining. And
he's like a great broadcaster.
He really is.
I want to tell you, Opie, I always think you get I think you're really underrated when it comes to O&A because you were the best broadcaster on that show. Like it didn't feel like a real like you helped it feel like a real radio show kind of.
Right.
And I think that's like when I started the Loud Boys, I got a lot of mean comments and stuff. So and stuff like that where it's like so I since then I kind of notice when people are getting kind of hammered online, but it's like, no, but he doesn't deserve that. Like you're the guy who made it feel like a total complete kind of professional radio show, which added to why it was funny. It felt like a radio show, but pure anarchy, basically. Well,
I appreciate that because I went to school for this. People like to make fun of the fact that I like mentioning that I started when I was 18 years old, and I did. And my mentor is Brother Wee's up there in Rochester. He's one of, just a handful of broadcasters that, I could sit down and we get really frustrated because if you're a listener and Anthony's crushing and Jimmy's crushing with his characters, whatever, that's all you give a shit about. You're like, right. Oh my God, I'm in my car. This is hilarious.
Right. Yeah.
That's all they care about. But the little nuances, when to set up bits, when to get out of bits. And I wasn't perfect with that. Sometimes I stomped over some good shit. I'm not dumb. I know that. But I was also the guy that had to kind of direct the whole mess of a show. And then it's these tiny nuances that it's not even worth explaining here on the live stream. But when me and Brother Weeze, who's like a legend in radio, we go out to dinner and we drink wine and stuff, we talk about all this stuff. We're like, no one understands what the guy in the main seat actually does, and they don't care, and it's frustrating at times.
Yeah, it's like being a pass first point guard, It's like people only care who scores the basket, but it's like you're the one who kind of set the offense and kept it moving,
Well, that was my first love. So I was a point guard, a point guard, shooting guard. So when I do a radio show, I kind of have that same mentality. I got the ball. Where are we going? Are we going to Robbie? Is he going to do a fucking impression?
Right. Yeah.
Or are we going to go over here? Is Robbie killing it, or do I? All that stuff. But
classic white basketball player, just assists and fundamentals. That was classy basketball. You know what I mean?
Well, that was my first love. I honestly, my goal was to go to the NBA.
Really?
Oh, dude, I went to all the basketball camps.
How are you?
There you go.
Oh, okay.
There you go. I didn't even make it to 6 foot.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I like to say, because I was a basketball player, that I'm 6 foot with shoes on.
That's pretty good.
But I could shoot the lights out of the ball. I was shooting 3-pointers before 3-pointers were a thing.
Oh yeah.
I was the kid that came home from school and practiced in my driveway no less than 3 hours a day. My dad would set up the lights. I was that guy. I was a gym rat, and I worked really hard at it. And my career ended when I went to Geneseo, and I was playing Division III basketball, and I snapped my ankle.
Oh.
And at that point, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I gotta just have fun playing basketball. So
bummer.
But I'm obsessed with it. I love it to this day. I really do. Dude, Robbie, these sons of bitches, man. Do you understand how many people get started on the Opie and Anthony show? And then, and then I have my fall from grace. I'm starting over. I'm in the podcasting world with all you schmucks. No, I'm just joking. But I'm in the pond with everybody else now. I'm not the big star anymore. I need help. Joe Rogan turns his back on me. Bert Kreischer, Theo Von. The only one that was true to me was Mr. Bill Burr. But the rest of them, I can't even get him on the phone anymore. I actually asked Bert Kreischer to do
brutal. Yeah.
I asked Bert Kreischer to do my podcast. He wrote back. I DM'd him. I can literally show you this. But just take my word. If people don't believe
I completely believe you, Opie, because that happens to me but with people who haven't made, like they're just one rung above me on the like they were so nice to me.
Right.
Then they start doing check spots at the stand, and they're like, you're a loser, Robbie." Like,
Right. So
fuck,
Bert,
dude.
so I go, Bert, hey man, like you do my podcast. I think I saw that he was in New York. He doesn't say no. He doesn't say yes. He writes back this, Robbie. This is why, Bert, you suck. For real, you suck. And I'm happy for his success, to be honest with you. But these people, I don't know what happens to them. He writes me back, Ope, I'll always be a fan.
What?
That was his response to me asking if he could do my pod. I'm like, oh, Christ.
That's
wild. Christ.
My co-host Krakamiko wrote a couple songs about Bert that you should check out. He dissed Bert pretty bad in a diss track, and Bert like responded and said like, Crack ran away from me at Skankfest. Yeah, I looked at him, he ran away, and he was like, what? I didn't. Like he straight up like lied about Crack, I guess, and then Crack like,
I don't know. I don't know what happened. I mean, he was so humble when he would come on the Opie and Anthony show, and then
I loved him on O&A. Yeah, I used to.
And then he did my show after me and Anthony went our separate ways, and he was great. I loved having him in. And then the guy I see now, I'm like, wow, he laughs a lot at his own stuff, and he really talks so much that no one else could talk. He gets these great guests on his. Look, what am I saying? He's crushing it with the numbers, but I had to stop listening because he would have cool guests on. I'm like, when are you going to let him talk?
You're right.
Asking someone to do your podcast is like asking someone to help you move.
Right.
People are like, he just asked me to do it. So when I reach out to old friends from the past, I start with, I don't want you on I'm not asking you to be on my podcast. I'm just saying hi.
Right. Yeah.
I literally said that to Bill Burr the other day because he was on Smart List, which is a podcast I do like listening to. And I saw that Bill Burr was on there, and he was talking about O&A and the infamous Philly incident. And he broke the whole thing down for those guys on Smart List. And I'm listening to this going, this is fucking cool. So I reached out to Bill to say, hey, that was pretty cool, man. And I made sure, don't worry, I'm not asking you to be on my podcast.